What's up, you thrifty thinking things? It's the Cardio King, and I just cashed in 5 miles. Here I am. It is now 6:45 in the AM. And people ask me, how do you wake up so early? Why do you wake up so early? How do you go out and run every morning like that? I'll tell you why, and it's a one-word answer, and it's really simple. Sleep. I value my sleep. I value my rest. Now, that doesn't mean that I go and I get 10 to 12 hours of sleep every night, or that when I'm done with work, I go home and I go to sleep and I sleep all day. That's not what I mean by valuing my sleep or valuing my rest. What I mean is that I value a good quality night of sleep. I make it an effort to be in bed by 9 p.m. every night, like I'm a 45-year-old man in a 26-year-old's body. But why? Why is there such a stigma on sleep? Also, why 9 p.m.? Because I wake up at 5 a.m. That's 8 hours. That gives me an 8-hour window. Go to bed, sleep like a baby for 8 hours. What does that 8 hours do? It gives me the opportunity to fall asleep, and then fall into deep sleep, and then fall into REM sleep, and allow my body a sufficient amount of time to recover from the workload the day before. When we skip out on sleep, not only do we rob our body and rob ourselves of gains or repairs, more accurately speaking, we also rob our mind. Our mind, just like every other organ in our body, needs time to recover, especially right now in such trying times where it seems like every other day there's a new conflict being thrown about, there's a new problem that arises, and critical thinking in these moments is something that we all need to be able to do. Problem solving is something that we all need to be able to do. But I want you to think of it like this. When we don't drink water, we dehydrate ourselves. Bodily functions begin to slow down. Our blood pressure will rise. Our body will try to do whatever it takes to keep those functions going to help us survive. But water is the catalyst to our movement, to our action, to our living. Just like sleep is the catalyst to our brain's function. Our brain needs time to shut down, to unwind, to close. Sleep is very important. I stress it to my family, I stress it to my clients, and there are practices that I do every single night that help me get better sleep. Before I go to sleep, as I'm preparing for bed, I stretch. I stretch in long form. Some would call that yoga. I guess I call it yoga too. But before I go to bed, every night, like clockwork, some nights I take out the foam roller and I foam roll before I stretch. I'm decompressing my body. I'm bringing my body back to its natural state before I get into bed. 2, I turn off the television, turn off the Xbox, turn off the YouTube, whatever it is that I'm watching or I'm paying attention to, I turn it off. I hear, oh, I can't go to sleep without a distraction. I can't shut my brain off. I hear you. I was one of those people as well. The reason being, in my opinion, is that we have way too much energy. We don't spend that energy throughout the day. If we're not exercising, if we're not moving, if we're not getting out there and getting active, we're keeping that energy pent up inside of us. So when we go to lay down and rest at night, even though we have a circadian rhythm that our body likes to follow, that for some reason over the millennia we haven't detached ourselves from that. The human body is an extremely adaptive vessel. There's so many different adaptations that we make throughout the course of a day, throughout the course of a life, throughout the course of a workout. For some reason, doesn't translate over to this thing called the circadian rhythm, which is like your body's internal alarm clock. But when we go to lay down and we're all pent up, we don't have that outlet, we don't have that energy spend throughout the day. What do? We continue to just lay down and we watch our TV, we watch our YouTube, we watch whatever it is. If you can fall asleep with the TV on, it means that you're absolutely exhausted. And if you're absolutely exhausted, it means that you're missing out on a lot of sleep somewhere in your life. You need at least 6 to 8 hours a day of straight sleep. I'm not a big believer in naps. What it does is it just allows you to get that stiffness, that same stiffness that you get from laying on the couch watching a movie, sitting in the chair at your desk on the computer. You get stiff from being inactive. That's what a nap is to me, because you never allow yourself to get into deep sleep. You're robbing yourself of productive time, and you're also not practicing the number one function of what sleep is. Sleep is our reset button. Sleep is our recovery. That's why I go to bed early, so I can wake up early and get the show on the road and spread some health one day at a time. It's all love.